Hi, Rozhan Razman. Thank you for coming to the waiting room.
Welcome,
Welcome.
welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome,
man. Thank
buddy.
you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for
Cheers,
finally coming
man.
on board us.
Cheers, cheers,
We're gonna
cheers.
see.
Cheers, cheers, cheers,
Cheers.
cheers, cheers.
Có bottle all left.
Oh,
Oh,
you
Uh,
big
Okay,
bottle.
got a
man.
bottle.
Water ni.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you. Cool story.
this microphone's not even on. We're getting this computer mic.
I
Always the
did
way.
nothing.
Every,
I did nothing to deserve this.
yeah. Yep. What you haven't done is turn your computer mic on.
Huh?
Yeah. Talk on
What is
talk on
going-
that microphone by your left ear.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're not too bad. Turn up
Ah,
your, turn up
hello,
your gain.
hello.
Hello.
It's like no. I think I just have to get it closer.
Better.
Okay, Derek, you missed my voice.
Yeah, must have so much.
Now radio DJ lah in the house.
Yeah, fall on hard stern. So it is like it's
Senandung malam, senandung malam
Alright.
bersama Brandon D. Cruz.
All right.
Alright.
So Roseanne, how are you getting on? How you getting through this? Well, I'm sort of know how you're getting through this fucking nonsense of the pandemic and no work. But like, why don't you tell the audience how you're getting through it yourself? Like, how's it been last year?
I don't know. There's always something to do, you know. I read a lot, so whenever I'm not doing anything, I try to up my game lah, you know. Find something to do lah, you know. You dig another hole somewhere.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as work, yeah, I stuck to my guns lah. I didn't really try to divert energy, resources, time to do something else.
Why don't you? Why don't you? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of younger people who are like a lot of us who are just struggling throughout this whole year trying to figure out, and someone like yourself who's we all look up to, and like, why don't you tell a lot of us or the audience how you managed to divert your skills to ensure you still had income coming in throughout the year? What did you do?
What? Okay, I'm just gonna tell you what I did. Well, you know, basically, I have the playing side, you know, bass, and also just the recording / production side, which is the studio, and then I also take. It's somewhat tied into the recording and production, but I do separate mixing and mastering gigs too. One thing that I haven't done a lot of was mastering, and I did quite a bit more during during this whole year, basically this past year. I still don't call myself a mastering engineer, but I'm, you know, it's one of those things, you know, it's kind of like the rite of passage, you know, you
Dark art.
you start out,
It's
you
a
start out,
dark art.
you start out as the cable roller, and then, you know, assistant engineer, and then maybe
Yeah.
you can maybe mix or something, and then when you get that much older, then you just do mastering. I feel I'm getting
for a
older.
lot of us, like, even the most experienced and the best mix engineers in the world look up to mastering engineers. It's kind of like you look up to them and you ask their opinion on stuff. Like it doesn't matter where you are as a mix.
It's a fitting term. It's a fitting term. Mastering, you know.
They are the dark. It is some sort of dark art on its own right, where we all look up to them and kind of go, they've got ears that are way better than us. It's like
Master.
I mean, yeah, it's for me. It's really cool because, you know, I feel like every time you learn something that's after you get to do what you're doing better.
yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You start thinking about your own skill and how you can do it to ensure that the master engineer. Once you learn that past your skill,
right,
you're prepping your own skill to make it better for the guy who you're handing it off to.
right,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. You know what to, even you have a better understanding of telling them what you want or knowing what's possible.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, and within that 1 year of doing this and studying a lot of it, I think I have somewhat set my mind on actually someday, just dropping the recording and most likely mixing and just doing mastering, in a proper suite, that kind of vibe.
Nice.
Basically, just another excuse to buy more gear, lah. I mean, if you have to ask, just don't
And
send
insulate
this.
yourself. You get to insulate yourself from the world even more, huh? You're in that space, right?
Yeah,
All he basically wants, he just wants a smaller room with more expensive equipment. That's what
Yes.
there you go.
The
There you go.
smaller the room,
That's all
the
he
higher
wants.
up.
A
Yeah,
nice wee
Just-
small room where he can sit on his own with a more expensive equipment that does very little. He just turns knobs slightly rather than make big moves. He just wants to just go, yep, I'm happy.
Yep.
Even if you
Yeah.
just want to chill there, do nothing. Nobody's going to disturb you. Say, I'm
Yeah,
mixing.
yeah.
Don't leave me alone.
Just listen,
Yeah.
listen to amazing songs on amazing quality speakers.
Oh, yeah,
That's
man.
That's what
There you go. That's
The
right.
ultimate man cave, man. A mixing, mastering is a master's room.
To a point, a master and engineer's room is the ultimate man cave because
Yes.
it's a guy who knows exactly what he's doing in a room
Exactly.
where he knows exactly what he wants to hear,
Yeah.
and that's what he's getting there. Like so, like yeah,
And nothing
like,
sounds shit there, man. So everything is
Well,
pristine.
depends.
Betul tak?
Depends what he's handed. It all depends what he's handed. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's lots of shit. Like, it all depends what
Yeah.
here, take this. Oh no, fuck
Yeah,
this already.
the hard part is, people might send in shit and thinking that, at the last minute mastering, then it turns to gold.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's the worst impression of mastering that people that have that what master's going to do is fucking going to like
Yeah.
completely change a mix.
I've been
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
a lot of memes about mastering and mixing lately. I don't know why. It's Facebook just sending me this stuff. I'm just laughing at it. So
Yeah,
true. Huh?
it's-
You
Yeah.
guys must
I,
have,
th- I think
both of you, Derek and Rozhan, yeah.
I think the most vulgar and best analogy of mastering I ever heard was Max Norman was Megadeth's mix engineer for both Rust in Peace and both Rust in Peace, Counting the Extinction, and Euthanasia. And he says of
What is it?
mixing, he says of mixing is taking a shit, mastering's wiping its ass. So, hideously vulgar, but like apt, I think, like which mastering is like.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All mastering to is cleaning what should be good up.
Make it sound better.
But
Oh shit, man, that's true.
so mastering, yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you in a mastering because from what knowing you as a friend over the last few years, you're so analytical, you're so like locked into like mixing it in a certain way. Mastering, you will be. It's almost like savant way of being. Like you will take the master and like a fish to water. I think it is something.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's something
Yeah,
to be
we'll see.
very, very, very good at. Like, so
Yes.
like, usually with the podcast, it's for the first half of the show, we ask the guests to go through their usual like journey through music or whatever their craft is. So how did you get into it, Rozhan? What age were you in? What was it that got you locked into what we're doing now for a living?
Music or recording or
You know,
what?
music.
Just everything. Yeah.
As a kid,
How do you get it? How do you get into this world that
The
we're in?
world.
Well, it was dark at first, and then
Yeah.
It got darker.
Well, I guess my oldest memory would be taking over. My dad used to travel because he worked with NST
okay.
journalism, and
All right,
he's.
we have Fabian is a sports journalist.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey,
Yeah, man.
cool. Yes. So at one point he was a foreign correspondent. I'm not sure, and at one point also he was following Mahathir to all. Every time he goes out of the country, he would be part of the press team that follows.
Okay.
And he once told me he slapped Mahathir's thighs before. I don't know why, but I somehow I remember that as a kid. Anyway.
That is
Well done, brother.
weird information. We don't know what to do with this information.
No,
right?
he just not that kid. He's like
He slapped
That shows how
harder
tight he is,
thighs.
lah. He's tight with Dr. M.
yeah.
Maybe pins and needles, lah. Maybe.
Maybe after a long flight, lah. Let's just leave it like that.
Can't feel
Wake
my
up.
leg. Smack.
Wake up. Wake up and get up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Okay, so yeah, so he bought presents for us, sometimes when he comes back, and he bought my brother a little Casio. Wow, you're in for a
Got
treat.
it?
You are
What?
Got it.
No, lah.
this.
That's
This
the same
is
one.
This is not the same one.
Okay.
I destroyed mine because at one point I thought I was MacGyver, so I started opening everything up. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking. All of you know what I'm talking about.
I've been
Don't-
there.
Already.
I've been there. I've been there.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
First electronic stuff I ever got, I opened them up as well, thinking I could fucking figure
Yeah.
out how they worked.
So I found this in a secondhand music shop in Brooklyn, and I had to buy it. It was like 100 over US bucks. But this was basically my first instrument.
Oh,
Um, and my brother, didn't really take interest into it, and I just literally sat in front of the TV and started, amazingly enough, playing MacGyver theme song on this.
Nice.
you were able to pick it up by your ear.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess.
picked up my ear, huh? Cool.
And then Airwolf, Airwolf, sorry, Airwolf A Team,
Yeah.
Wow.
Knight Rider,
The best,
Yeah.
the best era for theme tunes. The best era for these kids today have no idea. No idea.
Right.
See, my early listening was my first cassette was I used to buy cassettes of the theme songs, TV shows. They used to sell
Yeah.
the cassettes, right? It's
Yeah.
like amazing. Classic.
Kids today have got no idea how good those theme tunes were.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like they
Definitely.
stuck. They to this day they stick in our head. We can rhyme off MacGyver, Airwolf, A Team,
Yes.
whatever you want. They're all.
And it was a song, it was
Oh
a
yeah,
song.
it was
It
an
wasn't
absolute
just
song, like,
I love those cassettes because you will hear the full version. It's flashed out. There's the bridge. Oh, there's that part.
definitely.
Classic.
so- That's how it started, and then after a couple of years, I think my parents realized, like, oh, okay, maybe he's onto something, and they got me into electron organ class, so did that.
Okay, cool.
And then high school, just trying to be with the cool kids. You pick up the guitar.
Was it electric you picked up originally? You tried to be.
No, kapok, man, kapok. You gotta know.
Kapok,
Yeah.
It's always the couple. We had this conversation so many times, Derek.
Okay.
You go to a stationery shop and there'll be a guitar.
You know what?
here.
Next episode, I'll just have my kapot ready, man.
There you
Just
go.
have it, man.
Everybody take out. Actually, I got
Kapok.
okay. The second half of the show, I'll take out one couple.
Do it.
My kapot.
It's the first guitar
What
my
is
dad
it?
bought for my.
Is it a 3/4
It's a
length
guitar.
or something?
Wow.
It's
So
basically
it's a cheap guitar.
guitar lah. It's
Yeah.
basically
Cheap
a
acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'll show you mine later.
Alright.
Second
Yeah.
half of the show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, man.
Out lah. Everybody got couple. So
I'm sure.
until we have a jam session. We
I'm
have
sure
a
I
full
had a
jam
cup.
session.
I'm sure I had one as well. Whatever
I'm sure.
the Irish version of it was like, but like.
Yeah.
So
How
was
old
it-
were you when you got the couple?
That probably 15, 16. I don't know.
Okay, that fitting in time lah. Teenage years.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there was no more electron teacher to teach my level or something. I think I got to a certain thing, and then I don't know, the teacher left or something. I don't know. Then
They were like, "You are now the teacher."
Nobody's
lah.
gone this far. Nobody's gone this far.
Nobody's got this
No.
one. The syllabus is done, and you are going further.
Yeah. Just make up story. Nobody can teach.
Ah,
He ran away. The guy ran away.
no lah. So then I switched to guitar lah, trying to get some guitar lessons, whatnot, and then just following in my brother's footsteps. We all went to the same school, probably from standard one, like LaSalle Brickfields, then BI, and then both my brothers got into UM. So naturally, what do you know, after SPM? So I just write down like UM,
Yeah,
whatever.
you just follow what's going on, like.
I kind of knew I wanted to do music already and try to go into ICOM or something, and it did it. I don't know. It was just like whatever lah, don't care lah, UM lah. But then I went to UM. I literally, wasn't there lah, if you know what I mean. Just 24/7. I'm in the music room. They have, each college have a music
Yeah.
department.
What do you do?
or like-
What program did you eventually?
No, Asasi Science, Mechanical Engineering. Towards that, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, and after a year, I dropped out. I mean, there was a point where I would walk into the exam, and then I just saw my name on the list, because if you don't attend enough classes, then you cannot take the exam. So I just went back to the music room and started playing again. So
Oh, that's a movie scene, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's just fuck it. That's just
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, oh, whatever. And then, of course, the huge moment of truth with the parents. And it's like, I want to, just do music. And then I've told this next part of the story. I've told a bunch of friends. Maybe some of them know. So, drop out of UM, and I went to audition at ICOM. Torn jeans, slipper, ACDC T-shirt, which I still have. I don't know why, which I bought from high school.
What do you mean you don't? What do you mean you don't know why you still have it?
No, I don't know why. Come on, man. Yeah.
Having an ACDC T-shirt is a rite of passage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess,
man.
I guess when the band, dissolves, I'll finally, throw it away.
They don't
So-
buy from you.
And it was a BC Rich Warlock guitar, this pointy shit.
Oh,
Ah.
Sepultura.
So I went in audition. Of course, if you know Hanafi Imam, he's a pretty straight up jazz cat and educator minded kind of thing. And the best part of the story is this, I mean, whatever else happened, but he asked me to play. Okay, yeah, let's get you on some chords. Do you know? Okay, just give me a C chord. So I just played literally C. Yeah, okay, cool, gotcha. He was like, oh, you give me a major 7. I was like, what chord? C major 7. C, okay. So my finger didn't move. I played the same chord. And at this point, he started to look down, and he's like, do you know C7? And I was like, yeah. Played the same chord. But to be fair, technically I was not wrong. The piano player could have filled the other colors, but I just played the same triad. And at this time, he had his head down, and he literally took a bunch of books, right, and put it up on his head like that.
Legend.
Little did he know.
No, and I failed. I didn't get in. I got rejected.
I literally just watched a video with Rick Beko today, where he exactly the same when he first applied for his his first music college when he was 18 or 19, and completely failed and was a disaster. Like, didn't know he was asked. It was a classical course, and he was asked to play these classical fucking pieces, and he just played he played every classical piece in the same style when he was asked to play 4 different styles. And, like, couldn't get in, didn't get in, like, and I thought his life's over sort of fucking scenario, like, but like obviously both these have shown otherwise, like so it's a fucking nice lesson to kids. Don't worry, just keep at it, you'll be fine.
Right. Definitely.
You'll be fine.
So but at that time there was no plan B. So, at that time also my parents were like, okay, he wants to do music, and they were pretty supportive. So they sent me for theory lessons, try to get me back hip into it. And then, after a couple of months I got in lah.
Went back. Did he audition you again, or some other people?
I can't remember. Probably somebody else, but it was it's like similar type thing. So I knew what to expect. Plus, probably at that time already they needed the money. They say, okay, let him in.
Yes. That's it.
Sure, yeah, like, so
Yeah.
at what point? What point did? At what point did you get into the bass, and what point did jazz become a thing? Because
Mm.
was jazz one of your main things, or did just
No.
or that become just standard because we live in Malaysia and jazz is a big thing amongst a lot of the musicians
Yeah.
in Malaysia. Like,
Yeah, there's this notion where if you play jazz, then you are a good musician, which is
yeah. Like,
um,
there we go,
um,
guys.
There you go. Come on,
There we go.
man.
the I mean, probably because of the education, at ICOM, the exams and the requirements required that. And, I dug it at that point. I mean, before that, it was all rock and roll, I guess. This
Yeah.
was something new and I got into it. And bass, bass. It was this, it was, I don't know, it was partly a lot of things came through at the same time. The late Frank Ong, Elegant's bass player.
Oh yeah, man. He was my colleague, man. Also,
Yeah.
good
At
guy,
Sunway?
man. Sunway, yeah.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
good times with him. Shit, yeah, sad. But,
Is
so he was
something else. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he started to nudge me into it because there's this one song, I think Rio Funk, and I was checking out Lee Ritenour on guitar, but little did I know it was Marcus Miller on bass, and then I was doing all the guitar shit, and but at the back of my mind it was that bass thing that's really, I guess, latched on, and then slowly one thing led to another, and then Frank's like, you should try to play bass, whatever. And then there were things in college, college times, there were rivalries and whatnot, and there was these things that happened, and certain bass players start to flake and not show up, and then hey, I was around, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You're not doing nothing. You play bass, kind of vibe. So, but yeah, I mean, I was already dabbling in it. So, yeah, then I started filling in for all these performances in college, and then I guess the rest was history, lah. But to be honest, it wasn't until way much later that I really understood bass. I think I still don't really understand. But
You're still quite humble. You still joke about like you still don't understand bass, or you've forgotten half the stuff you've learned. So like,
yeah,
you're quite humble in that there, but you're still you're a very very good bass player. So like,
nah,
I
man.
think we can all agree about on that.
Just open YouTube, man. There'll be 7-year-olds playing better than me. So
But it's discovery, lah. I think that's where you put it, lah. It's always something that is mysterious and that makes it fun.
yeah, no, this is true. I I enjoyed playing bass more when I didn't have to play bass.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Or-
which is
Are you
Yeah.
talking about good bass should be felt, not heard, sort of thing?
oh no. As in like when I wasn't studying to play bass and trying to be a bass player
Oh,
and
yeah, I understand.
Not
and
trying too hard, Yeah.
and just actually playing and enjoying
Just
myself.
just rocking out in bass, like
Yeah.
just rocking out.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Rather than like you're the bass player, so you've got a bass solo coming up, so you have to concentrate on the fact you've got a bass solo coming up.
Oh yeah.
Then you fumble.
I know you just heard me do 2 bass solos the other day, but in general, I don't even want to or even think about bass solos. I think if people who know me from before until now, and then now, I mean, maybe you can say pre-US and post-US days, people who see me now, they are kind of, I mean, I'm just speaking on their behalf probably, but somewhat let down because they're expecting fireworks and tapping or I mean, I used to play
slap all over the place, like
yeah, I used to at Sunrise Jazz Festival, like be like screaming into the bass pickups and doing all sorts of whammies and all these acrobatics, and then now I hardly even slap. I don't even want to slap, to be honest. And people, you know,
I think I may have seen you slap once or twice in the 2 years I've known you. Like,
yeah,
You
probably
mellowed. You
because
mellowed. No,
no, I think
me, mom.
no, it's not. I don't know, it's Pamela. I think I just found my place. I think, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm down with it, so it's okay, you know. Like, but seriously, sometimes when I go to jam sessions, DDH, you know, people would. I can tell that people want to see some fireworks or whatever.
yeah, because they're stuck because the jam sessions are like.
Yeah.
Let's talk out loud. Jam sessions is they are fantastic fun, and that's
Oh yeah,
where you
fun.
meet.
I'm not knocking. I'm
No,
not
no, no,
knocking
no, no,
anything,
absolutely
anyone.
not.
It's just that.
Where you meet we all meet everybody, and everybody's having a great crack. And plus, it's a great place for new musicians to learn and play along with amazing musicians. And it's such an
Definitely.
it's an open environment for
Yeah. No, I love it.
fantastic. But it is a place where people get up and go like, check me out. What do you see what I do?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I've you know, I've went through that period
Yeah.
as well. So you know, it's just that I guess I just found my place. So I
You're confident.
don't feel.
You're comfortable that you don't need to do that to know that
Yeah.
you're.
Oh, I mean, even if I wanted to now, I can't. So. So,
I don't know.
So
I,
I rather.
I still think you're still stupidly humble. You can still
No,
talk
man.
you really
No, none of that. None of that. None of that. You know, no more stamina for that. This type of things need this type of things need some upkeep. You know,
So
I'm too lazy.
did you ever
Too lazy for that shit.
did you ever go through the pub rock scene like in your late teens, early 20s? Did you ever like play in regular bands like a lot of like now like
Cari
did you ever
makan
have-
lah.
yeah,
Pernah.
Charlie Macan gigs and stuff like that? There was a period like that for you like
Um. Well, you know, if I were to sit back and look, which I've done a couple of times, one thing I know I've had and done always is just this diversity,
yeah
and not because I mean there's also another unspoken thing, or sometimes, you know, elder musicians tell kids to, oh, kau kena versatile, kau kena macam ni, kau kena, I mean, sorry, in English, you have to be versatile, you have to do it like this, you have to, you know, so a lot of players here get lost by being jack of some
trades.
trades, not even all, some trades, and master of
none.
yeah. But I never found myself subscribing to that, but I actually truly enjoy that diversity, and playing bass definitely helped me open up to that. So I was in a jazz Latino band with some Colombians. At the same time, I was playing with Metal Asia, and then at the same time, I was doing gigs with Josie Thomas, you know, at NBT, the old NBT.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the pop gigs lah. With at one point doing Zainal for quite a bit, Sheila, and you know, I mean, whatever lah, you know, just pop gigs lah. So I was like equally comfortable, and not just with the music. I think one thing that I felt, I was maybe I never at that time I couldn't think about it, but now when I think about it, I had the advantage of just being a hang with every crowd. Like, you know, because sometimes, you know, everybody's got a pocket of niche of, you know, metal guys and then this and that. But I was just
like
I don't know.
Yeah, you're fine. Like,
I don't care lah. Yeah, I didn't care.
Converse for whatever genre. Like you can just have a conversation and make everybody feel comfortable within that genre, like without feeling.
Or just hang lah, you know, just
Just hang.
Yeah.
So what's whole spectrum of different people? Interesting, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of attribute that to my ethnicity, I guess, my background. I mean, I come from a real one Malaysia family. You know, we got Punjabis, Malay, Chinese, Indian, whatever you name it. People, you know. So
I think I remember when I told you, but I was starting this podcast when this fucking pandemic started with Asmil, and you mentioned to me Asmil's one of Asmil's earlier bands from way back in the early 2000s. He goes, Asmil, you know in that band, like, so you knew the kind of like fucking like kind of the punk rock band that Asmil was in. I was going, yeah, Asmil, yeah, and you're going, yeah, man. We used to go and see them back in the fucking day, like, so even that sort of thing you were into.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, man. So I don't know, maybe that all that lah. So
Classic.
So I think we'll leave it here for the first half. I think the second half of the show we should probably like delve into, obviously, like we'll delve into Berkeley, because I think that's obviously a big part of your life. Berkeley and New York's obviously been what we're there 15 years. So like
14, yeah, 14.
Or 14 years, like, so we'll in
Mm-hmm.
the second half of the show we'll delve into both Berkeley and New York, and we'll talk about that here. So like we'll leave it here for the first half of the show, and then give 10-minute break, and then we'll kick in with some Berkeley and New York stories. Okay?
This is when we take our guitar kaput, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh,
And then prep for the jam session that's about to happen.
The jam session at the
Prepare your solo.
You also,
Prepare
Derek,
your
you
solos.
can just do some mixing lah there.
Yeah.
Some live mixing.
I'll do devil horn solo.
Boleh je.
I'll live mix on this. I guess
Live mixing.
we'll see you in about 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, man.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. And we're back with part 2 of the Rozhan Razman podcast. Thank you, Rozhan, again for being part of this.
All right.
thanks, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
No, it's an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure.
Have one of the abangs of the scene. Fucking like.
Yep.
tell us-
It's hard to get the abangs in the scene.
very hard. To get the abangs.
Bang!
The abangs
Oh
don't
man,
Apa?
I should have shaved lah.
You no longer be an abang, you're shaved.
That's why then you cannot call me abang.
Yeah. Like that is it. So
Today the Rojak guy near the studio, my studio in Damansara Perdana. Okay, abang, thank you, abang. He's like freaking 60.
the first time it hit me was in No Black Tie with Daniel Grezzo. Was I don't know what gig it was, but Daniel was playing bass, and he introduced me to his daughter. And I think it maybe Chanel was his daughter, but I was only in Malaysia about a year and a half then, like. And Daniel goes, "Oh, this is my friend Derek," and she goes, "Oh, nice to meet you, Uncle." I just looked at her. Go fuck yourself. I know what uncle means in this fucking country.
Hey, uncle is a pangkat, man.
Yeah.
Uncle is just to be safe lah. She's not sure if you're rather just say uncle first, and then once she gets to know you, okay. And then,
Sometimes you say uncle, and then you realize it's auntie.
I think
auntie.
Derek's just
it was no black tie, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it was no black tie. I'm not having any of this uncle shit. Like, not a chance.
You're an uncle lah, Derek.
I know.
You are lah,
I
come
know.
on lah.
I know, but I
You're
still.
the only uncle here.
Hold on, Asmil and fucking.
No.
I'm Pakcik.
Just you.
Like,
Asmil is abang lah, come on.
Pakcik lah, pakcik.
so Rozhan, Berkeley, at what stage or at what even point did that come into your horizon where you eventually got there, but when did it become an actual like something where you actually thought this could be a reality? Or did you even want it originally? Like, because there's a lot of musicians we know who went there, and it is a sort of thing, especially amongst the jazz scene. Our friends, Berkeley is the place to go, and ICOM does have a kind of like correct me if I'm wrong. ICOM has a kind of collaboration with Berkeley, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I got into ICOM, because they had the Berkeley transfer program, 2 years here, 2 years there.
Okay.
What year was that?
You talking all this uncle. Well, now you're asking me what years.
Last year.
Just
Basil,
want to
last
see
year.
the soundtrack. I just want to see the
I-
soundtrack. So your time there.
He's just back last year, 1 year program.
no, I mean, I entered ICOM 98. So yeah, I did enroll in the Berkeley transfer program, but then, I think somewhere around, I think 98, the financial crisis or whatever, and then the dollar started to rise, or rather the ringgit started to fall.
Yeah.
And parents like, wow, this is not possible anymore.
Yeah.
So, and they offered I think a tie-up with Westminster University in UK. So I just ended up switching to that. But for me, whatever lah. I'm always the type of guy, I just go where it takes me lah. It being whatever lah, whatever you want to call it. So I just went with it and graduated. Then was teaching there at some point, and then
Did you go straight? Did you go straight from graduation to teaching at ICON?
I think so, something like that. And then Berkeley would come every year or so to do auditions, World Scholarship Tour.
Yeah.
So I've been doing playing bass for other people's auditions. That's one good thing about playing bass. Like, you get more gigs lah, because nobody wants to play bass. So
I find that weird because like I moved into Malaysia. I have never seen a country with so many bass players in my entire life. In Malaysia, like coming from Ireland, like where bass players are light on the ground.
There weren't many bass players back then.
Now.
No,
now
then.
Is that now it's because it's all sprouted already. Yeah, back then no. Yeah.
Back then it was not a thing at all. Yeah.
I came here in 2014, and I was like going like, this is mental. How many? And it's not just bass players. It's many amazing bass players that I was seeing. Like, it's just so much quality when it comes at one instrument. Because but like in Ireland, when we come through the alternative scene, like you got your really good bass players, but they're set in a certain way. Like, but like here, it was just so many. It was like crazy how many really good bass players. But I just said it was a gradual thing. It wasn't like back in the early 2000s. Back in the early 2000s.
It wasn't lah. Bassists weren't so.
It wasn't there.
Yeah, no.
So you guys did it influence the later generation in a big way? Obviously, like.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but also at the same time, people like Marcus Miller and Victor Wooten and bass heroes started to pop up. Get the limelight. So I guess that inspired, a movement, I guess. So I started playing for all these auditions for all these musicians, and then year after year they would come and see my face there. And at one point, they came down and they asked me, hey, how come you didn't audition? So I was like, I already graduated, I'm done. I got my degree. So I go, well, don't you want to just try? It's just a scholarship. You don't have to go, that kind of vibe. So ICOM, if I remember correctly, they didn't let me to register under them. So I just registered privately online, and I was the last to go. But these auditions go on for the whole day. So I was literally there since morning, making friends from with all these people and hanging out, and they see me on and off the stage. So by the end of the day, they were like, "Oh, now it's your turn." We ended up playing and then jamming a little bit, and just went through a few of the requirement things, and then they were like, "Okay." They usually don't give the answers by then, but they kind of signal to me that I, probably would get something, I guess. I think I took one of the guys up for teh tarik also, until today he'll remember that teh tarik session. So it wasn't a bribe.
Nepotism.
But they were eyeing they were eyeing you already lah. That by the time it came to your turn, they already decided already.
it was
Who is
put
that
some ganja in the teh
Who
tarik
is
lah,
that
you know.
Who is
That
that
sealed the
handsome
deal,
Malay
yeah.
bastard playing bass? We need him at our university. We need that handsome fucker.
Nah, man. So
So,
yeah, I mean that.
so
Huh?
what year did you what year was it when you went? And then was it
Pre
getting
9/11.
getting told you got into Berkeley's one thing. Then making the decision, okay, I've got a job here at fucking like in Malaysia. I've got them settled. Making the decision, then they fucking like to go to New York and completely like change your whole life.
Boston first. It was
Oh,
Boston.
sorry, Boston. Was that a big thing for you?
Oh, definitely. But I think I'm one of those guys that just goes with it. And my parents agreed. And there I went. I was already doing to say it bluntly, I was already kind of hitting a ceiling here as a bass player, just like, okay, here, there, everywhere, and then like what, so it was a good time to exit as well, I guess, in a matter of speaking. And the chance came, so I just left, I guess.
And what year was this? 2003?
I left at 2005.
2005.
4, 5, 5, 5. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Actually, I remember the date. It was 555. It was 5th of May 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I started to count my hutang lah, 555.
Buku 555.
Yeah.
And in regards to like the scene compared to Malaysia, you were like I will always ask musicians who've been in certain Western scenes back in Malaysian scene and stuff like that. How big of a culture shock was it for you, like jumping into that compared to what you were used to here? Not even just for the the level of talent, but like what was expected of you, like punctuality.
Okay. Let me tell it to you this way. There's more of everything. There's more of the worst. There's more of the mediocre. There's more of the good. There's more of everything. There's just more of it.
So explain what you mean by that.
There's clubs that have super gear, but most of the time I drag my amps and bass and whatever to the gigs, which I've never done ever in my life here in Malaysia. So
remember, guys, back home in the West,
right?
There's
you're spoiled in Malaysia.
Yeah.
You have to bring your own. If you want your guitar or bass or drums to sound a certain way, then you have to bring your drums or guitar.
Yeah. And also, I used to live in somehow, I don't know why, but every apartment I lived in Boston was always a 4th or 5th floor. It was always the top floor, and there's always a walk up, always.
Higher up is cheaper, man. The further it's cheaper, man.
Definitely.
But that was your fitness.
Yeah, it all went to waste by now. Yeah, man, it's tough. Yeah, a lot of good things, there's way more of everything, definitely. I mean, in a nutshell, without talking for hours. I remember there was one time actually.
Without talking for hours.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I one thing I try not to be is like, that those old uncles, like, it's like
Derek,
just okay lah, like, like, I actually think about these things. I try not to be certain stereotypes of especially telling kids what to do, or like, oh, this is how we did it, hey, back in the day, oh, we had it hard. I think I've heard enough of that myself, so therefore I don't want to do the same to when I pass the baton or whatever you call it. But yeah, there are a couple of key moments, where I go like, I finally reached the top of my the flight of stairs, and I just dropped my bass and amp and everything, And I just sat down there and just like, probably a little teary eyed, like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, I was just like,
Yeah.
I was spent, I was lost. There were several key moments like that happened. So,
But it's a good. It is a good journey because the obviously the good vastly, like I can't say it, but the good probably outweighed the bad.
oh, definitely.
Like the musicians you
I
played
don't know
with,
if that's,
the scene
yeah.
the scene you're part of, the actual like, I mean, the vibrant of live music scene probably like vastly outweighed the climbing to the top of your stairs with your fucking amp and your bass going like, oh god.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if there's such thing as a bad experience. No, I don't think I subscribe to that. Um, even
But
though,
I guess
There,
those moments of
there's
introspection will always come, lah.
yeah,
You've got to have those moments, lah.
yeah.
let's
I
call
mean,
let's call them
actually, no.
let's call them all
Sorry.
learning experiences. They're all learning experiences.
Actually, I'm lying. 2 days ago, I was at immigration, Selangor, trying to renew my wife's and daughter's visa because they have Japanese passport. So I was there at 10 a.m. and I left at 5 a.m. So
Dude, I was there in
there you go.
I was there in January. Shalam was it Shalam?
Chalam, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
headquarters.
I was there in Shalam in January. Like, yeah, that can be bad experiences.
Mhm.
Those is one of those.
can be
Why am
bad
I doing these moments?
Yeah, yeah,
God,
yeah.
That's horrendous, horrendous.
Just to,
So was
while I still remember, actually, that one of the uh, talking about lifting stuff and one I've got electrocuted trying to plug my bass amp in.
Wow.
I've showed up at a gig and just fell into the snow with all my gear. It's like this is too many,
yeah.
While wearing dress shoes and tux and everything, of
Yeah.
course, nonetheless.
Always wearing like that only, right?
Yeah.
Like when I first moved here, I was here about a year, and once I started doing live sound for musicians, they would always ask me, "What's it like back in Ireland?" And I go, "You guys are so spoiled. You have no idea." And they're going like, "Why?" I go, all your instruments are on your amps are on stage. You don't have to bring anything. You just have to arrive and play your gig and go home." And they go, "Why? What's it like?"
Jamming studios. Hey,
Well,
by the
yeah,
way,
yeah.
in the
Jamming
night,
studios.
by the way,
What's it like
by the way,
back home?
Derek,
There's
in the
nothing-
90s,
there's nothing.
Derek, in the 90s, jamming studios had guitars, by the way. You know why? How correct or not, Rozhan? Huh? Dulu ada guitar in the studio, man. Like damn lazy. Now, of course, don't have.
That's how That's how I ended up with the BC Rich, actually. The
Ah,
Warlock guitar. It was a Black Widow BJ. Remember
Black Widow.
Yeah, Black
Damn right.
The 17-year-old me just always wanted the BC Rich Warlock. Always love that
True.
guitar. So bass was your thing, but when did you? For anybody like myself who used to play in bands and then transferred over to the technical side, there's always a point you can say we can always say this is where I transferred over to the technical side. Obviously, at some stage, transferred over to recording.
Yeah. Actually, the story passes off along pretty seamlessly. With all this gigging, and it was still in Boston at that time. There were months that I played 24, 25 gigs a month, and there were like Sundays would be 3 gigs. I'll do church gigs. I don't care whatever people say. I do church gigs in the morning.
Charlie
I
Macan,
do
man, just whatever you need to do.
yeah, Charlie Makan, but also it's just music. I just go with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
play, just play.
Yeah. I'll do brunch gig right after, and then a Sunday early dinner gig. So I mean, you can understand after that kind of day, you walk, you go to a 5-floor walk up, and some of these gigs are like 2-3 sets, you show up at church at 6 in the morning sometimes, I don't know, I don't know. So it really took a toll on me, and I actually had 2 slip discs on my between C5, C6, C6, C7.
High five, man. High five. Slip disc.
Huh?
House.
You got slip disc?
Yeah,
Oh
he's got
man.
I've got 2 slip discs on my low back.
Yeah. Oh, back would hinder you from more movement.
Yeah.
For me, so these 2 fingers I couldn't feel anymore. I was shooting. I remember it was like there was one gig I played, and it was like I never understood what shooting pain meant until that day.
So it's like sciatica from your upper, because sciatica you get down through your lower leg, but you were getting it from your upper spine, like.
Yeah, man, it was bad. It was bad. So it was during also the time of my graduation at Berkeley. Of course, there was a lot of partying. Also, there's a lot of projects, and just everything, just bottlenecks. And there was a day. There were days that I just cannot walk up. I just lie down, face down. So, and I don't think I don't even remember worrying or going like, oh man, fuck me, now I'm done for, or something like that. So instead I just like, okay, I'm just gonna stop playing bass for a while, and then I started to dabble back into engineering. When I say back, it's because that's what I studied at ICOM.
So like,
and I did production and writing at Berkeley. So just like, okay, now I cannot do this. I cannot turn left. I turn right, So
you had that experience at ICOM. You already done production and recording at ICOM.
Yeah. I mean, and
that
tape too.
Pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, although this was also the time where everything was moving into digital, and so whatever I learned was like, okay. I mean, the principles were rock solid, but the
tech changed.
The tech completely changed. Yeah. So
I mean, like, what did you learn on ICOM, and what was it like? Was ADATs? Was it? Or
there was ADAT. There was also 24, the Otari 24-inch machines.
Oh, there was 24-inch. You were on actual proper tape then?
Yeah. Proper tape, and it wasn't too specialized, but it covered a lot of ground, I guess. So yes, with my neck and my hands are on commission, so I just started doing other shit. So
yeah.
I guess that's it. It's like, you can't turn left, you turn right. But yeah, it's still music. And I felt that by doing that, my bass playing improved. By stopping to play bass, my bass playing improved. Maybe not technically, maybe not the speed, but as a musician, I think that helped. Seeing things from the other side.
Give you a more perspective. Like you're kind of looking at it from a further afield.
Yeah.
Distance.
Distance it. Yeah.
Just doing it all every day. You're sort of myopic about what's going on.
Yeah. It's basic. It's literally the other side of the glass.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
and especially when it comes to a technical point of view, where you have to actually be critical of your actual or people's bass playing, or anybody's actual playing. You become going like, oh, I was doing this completely wrong. This is not. This just.
Yeah. You learn by listening.
Absolutely.
And I probably never heard as much of the click track as I did when I played bass. You know what I mean? I probably didn't. I probably heard way more of the metronome recording than and it's like one of those things it's like the Matrix. Once you start seeing things in numbers and everything, then everything makes sense, and then you're in you figure it out. Yeah.
Instead, like.
One of those things, I guess.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So so once you graduated from when you graduated from Berkeley, did you go straight into a recording studio?
07. Yeah, I went straight through during Berkeley. So 7 semesters straight. I blasted through summer as well. So just like back. So that's why it took me only like 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. then yeah, mainly it was giggings at first, and then when that thing happened, you know, you start doing other stuff like recording friends bands, just doing your own stuff. Yeah. I never actually sat with a studio or intern at the studio or
You didn't do
tagged
your old
along.
school, like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that age, I think I was almost 30. I think so. It's
yeah.
like I don't wanna make tea or something.
No, I was kind of the same. Like when I did my fucking like H&D music production, I was in my delayed. I was way older than all the other students in my class. Like, so I was in my delayed 20s. I was like 27, so like 26,
See,
27. Like,
that's the
it
best
was like
learning, man.
it was like, yeah, I don't want to like. You just want to like. You don't want to have to start making tea again, fucking cutting cables and.
Yeah,
do
can
the
you imagine
usual fucking
Uncle
thing.
Derek making tea?
But you know what's funny?
What do you mean? I'm Irish. I make the
Derek
best cup of
in-
tea you'll ever fucking drink. What the
Derek
fuck?
in like B-Sync or something, just like, can I get you some tea, sir?
But,
Wow.
but what's fun?
Insane.
What's funny is though when I opened my studio in Brooklyn after I moved to New York, that was what I did. Just making sure everybody's comfortable, getting them what they need: water,
How-
tea,
how-
coffee, whatever.
How
teh
did you
tarik.
make that? How
But
did you
that's
make
because
that
you want to
movement?
make the tea.
But yeah, that's true. Because it's my fucking studio, and
Yeah.
nobody else is there to make the tea for me.
How did a Malaysian guy go from Boston to Brooklyn and open up his own studio and start like take us through that journey? Like, cause like was it? It couldn't be as easy as you're saying.
uh, yeah, I guess. Unless it was.
Unless it was that easy. He's like, I'm just going to open a studio in Brooklyn. Hey, I opened a studio in Brooklyn.
Hey.
Go to Brooklyn first, then decide. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I moved to Queens. I moved to Queens first, actually. So, well, in Boston, I was already married by then, and we had like a 2-bedroom apartment that was split to 3, but then it became just 2 people again. I mean, me and my wife, and then another roommate. But our room, after I started the studio thing, this path, it quickly became a recording studio. There was like this foldable couch that turned into a bed. So morning just float, and then out comes the drum set. And we had like at one point we had like two roads in the apartment, and it was really small. It was really small.
2 roads.
Yeah, and then just like I don't know.
And was a walk up too. So you had a.
Of course, it was a
London.
walk up. Of course, it was a walk up. Come on,
But how can you get those? How can you?
you gotta.
Like, but those are great learning experiences and great fucking
Oh, yeah.
great times.
Of course.
Oh yeah,
man.
and
Wow.
yeah. So that was just already failed, and then we were deciding between maybe LA or New York, but my wife had most of her rehearsals and the home base was in New York for them. So it's like, okay, let's just move to New York. At least we can somewhat see each other more, and it worked out well because since I'm not playing as much by then, it's like, okay, yeah, well, just we moved to Queens, and then there was a nice pre-war 1-bedroom apartment that
Wow.
quickly turned into a studio.
you inspect places.
Yeah.
Toys with toys.
I am the disease. I am the disease.
I'm sure if we asked Rhea what she
yeah.
expected to happen when you moved the fucking that place and what really happened was completely 2 different stories of what was going to happen.
I mean, I'm being pretty straight up honest. She'll probably fill you in with more details, but I mean, but she was on the road a lot, so what am I gonna do at home? And yeah, so we started moving the bed into the actual living room. The living room was literally next to a kitchen, which doesn't have doors or anything. So I mean, it became
Open plan. It's all open plan. Yeah.
yeah. So it became a studio apartment with a studio apartment with a studio.
A
A
literal
real studio apartment.
A literal
That's a
studio.
real studio apartment.
Yeah.
And
And then
and
Brooklyn
you,
after that.
you
Yeah.
you spent
Ah.
you spent what 12 years in New York?
No. New York was about what, 8 years, 9 years, 8 years,
Eight,
8
eight or nine
years. Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
and you loved it there. It was
Yeah. Well, while you were in it, it was good. Um, that's the thing about New York. You won't realize you're part of the machine until you are the machine.
okay.
Everybody is, and that's part of the reason I left too, because it's just another piece in somebody else's puzzle. So
Okay.
I'd rather be back here doing my own puzzle, or at least being a part of a piece in a puzzle that I have more connection to.
I understand.
It's my home.
And you felt and you felt that when you were in New York, it was just like a cog in the machine, like.
Uh, Not really, but hustling was the only way of life.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
So every day is a hustle.
Every day you really are hustling all the fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I had no complaints. I don't felt tired. I didn't feel tired or like, oh, I'm worn out or whatever. But also, I mean, our daughter was born, and so that definitely, we are both very family oriented people,
Yeah.
and we don't, we
And that
want
was a
her to
decision,
be.
like, where do we want her to grow up, and where do we want her to live.
Yeah.
Be like, but yeah,
Yeah.
New York was constant hustling.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, but no complaints.
A great hustle, like a great hustle, because you learn so much. So many great musicians, so much.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but so from Queens to Brooklyn, yeah, there an opportunity came up for a studio that was reasonably priced, and um, I was really balls deep into the whole thing, recording and whatever. So that was just a natural progression
Cool.
into it.
Okay, so part two. This is going well. Like, are you open for part three? Are you okay for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Why
so
not?
part three. I think I would really like to talk about what you think about the Malaysian music scene, and what you would like.
It's
how
a
it-
trap.
Yeah, that is like this, Just simply trap you
But
in
like-
the corner.
rather than
Yeah.
just doing like.
I mean, it's not like
give us
we
your-
don't want
give-
to hear. Also.
Rather than just doing give us your life history. I would like your I really want you to talk about like what you think about the Malaysian music scene, how you would like it to go, and like, because everybody's
I think
gonna
Rozhan suddenly
have a go
busy
play.
after this, huh?
Yeah. Four of y'all show up, and it's like, I gotta take this phone call, bro. I gotta take this phone call.
I just got a WhatsApp from Roseanne going, "Shut the fuck up, man." Okay, so
Shall we just like immediately refresh this?
Yeah.
Instead of taking a break.
Yeah, if you want, I'll just send you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd
Yeah,
rather
it's fine.
just keep it going.
Just give me
Can-
a minute. I'll send you a
Yeah,
number.
because if you give me 10 minutes, then Netflix it is.
Okay. I'll let you send you an invite now in about 1 minute. Okay.
Okay, Malaysian 1 minute or Irish 1 minute?
Are they the same thing though?
Irish one.
Okay, thanks, bye. Okay, thanks,
Irish
bye.
1 minute. Okay. And we're back with part three of the Rozhan Razman podcast. Thank you once again, Rozhan, for being part of this great conversation.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. So we've gone through the history. Now let's have a conversation on like
Here now.
the Malaysian music
In
scene.
and out, yeah.
We're all part of it. We all want the Malaysian music scene to be something. We probably have different ideas what we want it to be, but like, in your personal opinion, what do you think the feelings are within the scene, and what would you like it to aspire to, like? Because like, in my opinion, there's so much potential in this country. It's got so much talented musicians compared to where I'm from in Ireland. Like, there's so much like there's really good musicians in Ireland, but I've never seen such a collective of talent like there is in Malaysia. I think it's more concentrated, but there's less avenues for it to get out there. Like, so in your opinion, what do you think the scene needs? Not just the scene's a kind of vague word, like, but what do you think Malaysia needs in the music? What do you think it needs?
It needs more. Needs more venues. We need more people playing. We need more action and not words.
True.
Less clubhouse rooms.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Damn right.
I mean, no, I mean,
Someone had to
actually,
say it. Someone had to fucking say it.
no, I mean, no, I'm just, oh, well, I'm semi kidding. I love, it's like a IRC, back to IRC again on Clubhouse, but you don't have to type so much. Yeah, it's a great tool. I think what we need, yeah, but seriously, I think what we need is just more of everything. When there's a bountiful of things, then you get to, why am I holding a balloon? You get to.
That time is just that time of the night.
Yeah, it's about that time. It's about balloon time. Yeah, when you have an abundance of everything, hopefully some more organized than not. There'll be things to choose from. There'll be things to compare to. There'll be there'll be choices to make, when there's an abundance of things where, there's more different musicians, there's more different places to play, there's more of everything.
You can dip your toe in each different pool and like
yeah
your place, like rather than being you're kind of locked into this one scene doing this one thing.
Same people.
Yeah, it's funny you mention it because we do have a lot of musicians for a country this small, or for a city this small, in fact.
So many. I mean, I've never. I don't think I've never seen anything like it. Like, and it's not just
serious,
so many musicians. It's the quality. The quality's really high. Like, I mean, really fucking high. Like, in my opinion. They just they're as Rosa. They're just kind of locked into this one similar scene. It's kind of like it's sort of like the jazzy-esque sort of scene.
I mean, that's one thing. I mean, there's plenty of things going on. It's just, it's probably out of your radar or something. But I think, if you start with more of everything, then and you start to also appreciate one another more, and you appreciate your own worth, and you appreciate what you do, and you probably won't be as lazy because that's my gig, I got it already, you won't be be sitting on your butt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people will get worried that the more stuff of things are, the more diluted it will be, but they don't understand the more things are, the more you've got to actually like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Observe it's you don't want to be. A lot of people are comfortable being the big fish in the small pond, but like the bigger the pond, you can just sit back and go like, okay, like if I want to, I can dip into every single scene.
But I think a lot of people also like just very easily, just that level above, right? Like complacent lah. I think complacency is a big problem here lah, isn't it?
And also, I mean, you probably need another 4 or 5 refreshers of Zoom if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of it. But it's also now no, now we're also faced with the challenge of the YouTube generation and whatnot. So it's click and there you have it. Click and there you have it. Everything you don't. I mean, I
Instant
have that.
gratification.
Yeah, there's nothing against that. I use YouTube. I don't know shit,
I
and
love
I
YouTube.
just I look for stuff on it too. So
I think
but
we all do. Like,
there's more to it, lah.
Mm-hmm.
There are steps that needs to be taken.
uh,
For example, like how a band rehearses here, or even professionals, even for a TV show. I mean, it's to me. I mean, I've been there before I left, and I've been there after I left. To be honest, nothing changed in 14, 15 years, which is kind of sad. But yeah, which I to me, I don't know what the root of that problem is. Maybe it's just again, if you have more people doing it, then they will see, oh wow, that guy's doing it better. Maybe I should do it too. Or I need to get on my butt and up my game, rather than, hey, I've got this gig. I've been doing it for 15 years, so
yeah,
I'm still getting paid for it. So
I think,
yeah, that's the thing.
I think we've discussed this before, that like there's I came out with like I'm getting my own saying about it. Like, it's kind of the adoration of the abang, where the younger generation like sees the older generation, and they know there's something wrong with what's going on, but because of the culture, they don't want to say anything to upset the older generation, or they set the guys.
yeah, that, or maybe they don't want to lose the gig.
Yeah,
You
not
know,
there, like,
yeah.
because
I mean, there's so many little things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is one of it. Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah. So and also there's a huge part of me that realized that for the longest time, even today, there's still plenty. Wow, if you play like Malmsteen or whatever, wow, bagus wow, hebat, wow, macam Steve Lukather, like this, so, and you wear as a badge of honor, right? And you know and but you're just another clone that's probably 20% of what the real thing is, where in New York, hey man, wow, you sound just like so and so, and they'll be like, shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
It should be that.
you don't want to sound like
Yeah.
that. You don't want to. You don't want to be a Malmsteen or a Stevie Vai or a fucking whoever.
Right.
You want to be.
But audiences also lah. Malaysia, they're not sophisticated. Right? People are impressed if you sound like the album. That's another thing, right?
Yeah, people are impressed. Yeah. I mean, I think that has changed a bit. I think that has changed a bit. But there's that thing lah. So there's the copycat or clone syndrome, whatever you call it, and you get a pat on the back for being somebody else. And you're nudged to, oh, you have to be like this. So you got to learn this. So you got to, like where else, like whereas like I don't even remember any of my teachers there at Berkeley telling me what to be. It's like, oh, okay, what do you want to learn? You came to me to learn this. Okay, so this is what I know. But go take it, and
be you.
Be
be
yourself. Yeah, find it. Yeah.
Find your own voice. Like, use it. Use the influences that you're given, or you see.
Yeah.
Find your own voice, like the one what you want, like.
But with that being said, you don't really. There's no market here to be that.
Yourself.
Yeah.
That's
No,
true. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very
kind
true.
of is which is I mean, whatever, and a lot of the younger people's, like, there's one side of them that's, you ask them what do they want to be? They want to be sessionists. They're like, what does that even mean? That you just sessionist, That's seem. I mean, yeah, of course, sessionist makes money, lah. I mean, you can survive, lah. You can make that.
Because for them that's their job. That's what they want to be. That they
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
So,
they're brought on it, they, and told, okay,
mhm,
you have to be employable, and this is what they
mhm.
got to be employable. Like.
Yeah, but that can't be your goal. And then to quote
Yeah, that's true.
the late Aji who passed away almost 2 years now. Kids would go up to him. They want to be like him and whatnot, and he's like, "Don't be a sessionist. Listen to me. Don't be a sessionist. Don't be like me." Because towards the end of his life, he stopped touring China and he started wanting to do his own thing, and you can tell he was happy musically. Of course, less money and whatnot. But I'm so happy that I got back just in time to spend quite a good amount of time with him.
Nice.
Before he passed, like literally even until like 2 days before his passing.
Yeah.
But I
Wow.
remember him saying that don't just aspire to be a sessionist. That it can't. I mean, there's more to it than that, lah. Basically, he's saying.
Yep.
So
Completely. Yeah.
If you just aspire to be a sessionist, you might as well just be like might as well be McDonald's or something like that, or KFC, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's all you're doing. Like you're not creating anything. You're just
yeah.
Yes, creating. Yeah.
regurgitating
Yeah.
music. Like.
Yeah. I mean, there's no wrong in that too. There's a place for everyone or everything, I think. But
Of course.
but again, I think with more of these things, more of musicians, more of people doing stuff, there'll be a variety. It's like, okay, yeah, people who want to be that side can just be that side, but then there's a space
But
for,
I think there's a thing amongst us older people who have been through it, like myself and you Rozhan, and
Just speak for yourself, man.
Yeah. Simply calling other people old. Just like, hello.
Anyway,
It's
but
not you.
you've
It's just
gone
you.
you've gone through this, you've got through that, and you've seen what, and you see a really good talent, and you want them, and you're kind of like going like, don't go down that road. Kind of write your own songs, because I'm always on musicians. Write your own music, get something on tape. Please get something on tape. You don't want to be my age and never have anything on tape. Just get something there that's yours, that you can hold on and say, "This is my music. I crafted this. I created this." Get your art out there.
Yeah. Just as a side note, it's 2021. I don't think they use tape anymore. But yeah, keep going.
Proverbial tape. tape logo. Photo.
Not your night tonight, Derek. Not your
like
night.
man. Fucking like man was in New York for 15 years. He thinks he can come out here and slag off the fucking Irishman now. That's what's going on.
Oh man, this ain't half as bad.
Man, it's just across the pond.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that just for any musician at all, like whatever age, just get someone on tape. Don't
No, definitely.
don't go
100%.
Don't look back at your career and say I was like, as you said, you can respect someone who just plays and does charity macan, because to provide for the family. I've got nothing against that. But like, if you're a musician, as a musician, you're an artist. Try and get some of your own art out there. Just get it out there, like whatever it is, get it out, like, because
Definitely.
you'll feel better about yourself, like at some stage, like.
I mean, this is interesting because from my end of the scene, the more underground scene, you see people doing exactly that, because they know the music isn't to please people, but they do it. And, they got a day job and they've got no qualms. So it's almost like everybody finds their own formula, right? Yeah. There's no way you can't learn that anywhere in school.
Speaking of jobs, just backpedaling here a bit, most musicians I know, who even some have a big name, they have jobs in New York because
I'm the same.
So and they're professional musicians, So
there you go.
There's no harm in that.
No harm at all.
When I moved to Malaysia, I was shocked because 90% of all the best musicians in Ireland have day jobs. I had a day job. We all had day jobs. The music was, your passion, but you had your normal job. They ensure that you were able to fucking go on tour or play music. Like when I moved to Malaysia, all my 90% of my Malaysian friends, that was their job as a musician. I used to tell them, "You're so lucky. You have no idea what it's like back home."
No, but I think that's also why you end up being like people because you need to serve other people, right? So you're not creating. You get it or not? Because that becomes your bread and butter, right? So that's also a
because
problem.
very few
That's also a problem.
That's a good
the
point.
full-time musicians
That's a good
here
point.
aren't like surviving off like their own music.
Yeah.
And it's nearly always a cover gig and all that, and you hustle that, and then you also
it's a good
produce.
point. It is a good point.
Yeah.
I may know one or two, like I have met and drunk with the guys from Snow Patrol, so I know a few guys who literally that's their fucking gig, like, and they do it well, like.
That is different level already.
But like the guys just below that, because I've got friends who are just literally below that level. They play and bands that good just below that level, but they still got day jobs, like, and you're like, and it's kind of like I've seen them before, and we drink and we talk about it, like you should be, you should be your job, like your job should be a professional musician, but like it's just not like that back home, like.
But I'm with Rozhan on that. Like, there's no harm. I mean, if you gotta put bread on your table,
Absolutely not.
You shouldn't be like, no, die, want to play music. I don't care. You know, that's like,
I'm not in any way, shape, or form like criticizing like being in a wedding band or being in a cover band or like that. There, whatever you got to do to put fucking the bread on the table, you fucking do it. Like,
no, but it's also time and space, right? Like you said, when you're doing that, you don't have time to create.
Exactly.
You don't have no downtime.
Yeah, because when you're creating, you're just like working again. So but also, I mean, I find people who do both well. They make space for their personal projects, their creative projects, and then on the weekends they do the wedding gigs and whatnot, corporate stuff, and then they.
Well,
you have to.
They do it well. Like you seem to do it fucking pretty well, because like. You've got so many. You're juggling so many fucking. You're like a fucking like one of those guys that has got the plates on the sticks. And you're going like.
Oh man,
I wish in the air like because you got the bass and you got recording.
Expectation versus reality, or it's one of those things. What my mom thinks I do, which she thinks I play guitar.
One of those things.
Yes, she still doesn't know that I play bass. And what my brother thinks I do, what my wife thinks I do, and what I really do. It's one of those things, lah. Yeah. I think, lah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You just go with it,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely lucky, blessed, or whatever you want to call it. There's no denying that. I mean, if you ask me, so I don't know, maybe
move it into the blessed part. RMP Productions, you and Melina. How did that come about? And like, let's talk about how it came about and what. From a
jam session.
From a jam session.
Well, actually, technically, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think if it were to happen, it would have happened regardless. One of those things. I mean, I know Melina for over 20 years, 23 years, I think. And yeah, she's been to my studio in Brooklyn, actually. And, somewhere vaguely, either we've talked about it or one of our mutual friends has talked about it. It's like, hey, maybe you guys should do something when you get home. But, it never really, but, it was just spoken, said, but never, we never did anything about it. But when I came back and then just maybe less than a month into it, went to TDH Jam and with, I can't remember who, maybe Fook, I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think when you came back, Fook was along with you a lot, because when I first met you in Susie's, Fook was along with you, so it probably probably was Fook, like.
Yeah. So I just went there and I sat down and I felt something on my left, and literally I turned around and it was Melina. I was like, hey. and she hardly goes to, at that time, I think she hardly went to jam sessions. And then it's like, hey, what's up, And then something just clicked, and then she saw me, and we said, hey, let's go, mama, after this, of course. And then we just start talking, and then I brought one suitcase into Play Space because Melina had been running Play Space for over 6 years, I think. And, she was looking for something different. And the next thing I know, I brought a desk, and then my computer was in there, and then one or two amps.
I know, I was there for the fucking.
He was. The next thing I know, my whole container was emptied into that place, and I guess I was like, okay, I guess I'm not moving anywhere. But also, it was literally a 5-minute walk from where I live.
It was pretty up the road. It was,
I just went with it.
It was fun that the day we moved the desk, and the majority of the stuff, Rozhan goes to me and goes, yeah, we've got these guys that they're going to help us fucking move that. I go, what sort of guys are they? I go, oh, they're just kind of like moving guys. These guys were about fucking 65 years old. One guy couldn't walk.
70 or
I mean,
he couldn't walk. Man. He was walking with a limp.
Yeah, literally, one guy was walking. It was kind of like dragging his leg behind him as he walked. Like, they were carrying a fucking the SSL desk into the studio. And me and Rozhan were looking at each other, going like, "This is some sort of fucking Monty Python episode. Like, this isn't right."
You're moving up from your Queens apartment and Brooklyn apartment. It's the same thing.
But he's also still just going around and just opening studios everywhere. It's like, just went with it lah. Just
help this time.
Looks like I'm opening a studio.
Yeah. I mean the gear. I just literally transplanted all the gear lah. So I had to put it somewhere, I guess. Better than paying a storage spaces, put it,
it's gone well.
Sharing the rent. Yeah. I mean, I've been considering that. I came back, and then within a year of, I have to say this again. I let things happen. I go with things. I go with it. I have friends who believe that I know things before it happens, but I don't. I think I just listen to whatever that's laid out lah, whatever feels right is okay lah, So he swears that I moved out because I knew the pandemic was coming or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't have survived New York straight up if I was there right now. There's no way. But yeah, and then even this whole thing, I just went with it, and then. So it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to make the studio and then boom, bam, boom, bam. Okay, here, this is my studio. Hey, guys, come. It was like a slow, gradual. I mean, to be completely honest, we haven't even have our opening yet. It's been...
organic lah. It just happened lah.
Yeah, it's super organic lah.
Honestly, we talked about doing the opening for the studio a year and a half ago.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, and then of course all things considered.
And I was told, like, this is not some sort of plan thing, because I was told in probably about 2.5 years ago by friends going like, Rozhan's moving back to fucking Malaysia. You got to meet this guy, and cause friends who were wanted me to meet you, and I was going, who's Rozhan? I was going, oh, he's the best. Like, you got to meet him. Like,
it was like a prophecy, man.
Like, and they're going like, but you got to meet him. Like, you got to meet him. Like, well, it wasn't planned. Like, it was just like, he's coming back, and then it'll be all like sort of thing. I was like, okay, when he comes back, I'll meet him. Like, sort of thing. Like we'll see how it goes when we meet each other. Like, but it sort of worked out okay.
So, I remember Derek telling me about this also.
Yeah, sort of worked out fine.
I mean, all things considered, even with this gap year that we have, slowly, and then the pandemic, still, and then, here we are still, I guess, and hopefully once the smoke settles, we'll probably have okay, hey, we're open.
I think the light's at the end of the tunnel. Okay, Mr. Razman, we are at the end of the podcast, so But usually we give the guest the last minute to just tell us your hashtags, tell us what's going on, what you're planning for the next year, what's coming up for you, your studio, your life, whatever else is going on. So for the last minute of the podcast, it's all over to you. Go ahead.
Oh man, I haven't heard enough. I haven't heard enough of me yapping away. Blah 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 blah. RMP Productions. There you go.
I think that's good.
That's all you need to know.
One thing.
I mean, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not big of a promoting type of guy. But the things that I in line. Suddenly now that MCO is lifted, big wave is coming. I think I have a thing with Hillary Ang, the ex. Oh wait, he's still with Search. I don't know. Search guitar player coming up, and then something with Nicholas Teo, this Malaysian / Taiwanese artist. Oh. That's actually Derek's helping me out with that in a week. And then there's a bunch of albums that was put on hold. It's a roller coaster with this. Okay, can work, cannot work, can go, cannot go. So those backlog of stuff, I really need to get it out of the way as soon as possible. And playing gigs. Oh, I did something with Derek as well for the International Women's Day. They released it for their it's private for now, but I guess by the end of the month they will make it public. So those kind of videos.
Rozhan Razman, his wife, Kevin, and
Elvira was on the singer.
Very good. It turned out very, very well.
And for the future, I guess someday we'll finally announce the opening of the studio.
An open party would be great.
I mean, we literally, oh my God, it took us forever to even open our own bank accounts. We got internet not too long ago. Can you believe that? Whoa, we stepped into the 20th century. We made records before we had internet. How about that? Boom! At the studio.
The literal very first gig at RPM Productions was fucking
RMP.
Yeah,
damn it.
RMP Productions was one of the biggest things you could ever put on. It was what do you call hers?
Oh, Irma's thing.
It was.
Oh yeah. I like jumping into the deep end.
20.
It's like 19.
19 or 20 musicians.
Yeah.
And one go.
Yeah. We didn't
even know we had enough cables to sort out, but it worked.
Yeah. No, we had to buy some. I mean, my very first session in Brooklyn was the same. It's like the night before. It's like, the string quartet is coming in to record. First ever session. And I'm like, I don't have the right mics for this, so I had to literally wait for a store downtown to open, and when they opened, just rushed to get those mics, went back to the studio just in time to record it. So I just jump in.
No
just, same thing with bass too. I did a bunch of that stupid shit. But yeah.
Okay, Mr. Razman, thank you so much for this podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Appreciate it
very much.
It's been a pleasure having you on. So be safe, and we will hopefully get you back on soon.
Oh yeah, sure, anytime. And Brandon, I'll get you that article soon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, please do. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Marathon podcast over and
out.